Everyone. I'm making a video today to talk through assignment number 3, our final assignment for English 205. You may have seen the handouts on Canvas already, but I want to go ahead and go through what would be an in-class lecture, but I'm going to do it on video. So first, if you have not looked through the assignment sheet, please make sure you do that on Canvas in the Files section under Assignments. You can find the Project 3 Advertisements handout. So for this assignment, you're going to be doing a critical analysis of advertisements that you create. So you're going to choose 3 products to advertise and create your own advertisements for. They could be items you buy, music, art, or even a person, anything that advertisements are created for. So today we're going to look at some real life advertisements as mentor texts to get an idea of what you could use to design your advertisement using the website canva.com. There is another class lecture on how to utilize that source, that website, canva.com, so I recommend you go and look at that video as well. You're going to create 3 advertisements, and then you're going to write an essay analyzing all 3 ads you created and the strategies you used to make effective arguments. So you will be expected to explain the types of statements you use, how you utilize the elements of argument, what kind of reasoning fallacies and rhetorical devices were included, what kind of evaluation of evidence you're using, and how you use the forms of appeal. You won't necessarily have to look at every one of those for every advertisement, but those are some ideas of what you'll be discussing in your essay about the advertisements that you create. Your completed essay must be at least 2,000 words. So the first section is the advertisements, which I'm just going to summarize here, and I encourage you to go back and read through this on your own. But for here, you're going to use canva.com or another editing tool. If you use Photoshop or something, that's fine as well. And while you may be familiar with advertisements for these products, you may not use previously created advertisements. So if you're going to advertise a product like Pepsi, you cannot go look at a Pepsi ad that somebody created and recreate that ad. These need to be creative, something that you do on your own. Before you think about your ad, you're going to want to consider the elements that we studied earlier in the semester, the critical reasoning techniques, and which techniques you're going to be using in your advertisement. So you're going to create your ads. Your advertisements must have at least 50 words on it. So you could have a small paragraph, you could have various sentences. 50 words really isn't very much, but each ad needs to have at least 50 words. They can be 1-page or 2-page advertisements, like a single page you would find in a magazine, or a 2-page spread that would be on the left side and the right side. It's up to you, but if you do a 2-page one that's on the left and the right, if it's one product, that's still one advertisement, so you do need to create 3. The next part that you're going to do is your essay. So once you've created your advertisements, you're going to analyze what strategies did you use to be persuasive in your advertising. So here's a sample outline of how you may address your essay. First, in your introduction, you would introduce your products, and then you would have a body paragraph on your first advertisement. This would probably be more than 1 paragraph. This would maybe be more like a section. You may put a heading that says first advertisement and then have probably a few paragraphs, especially since the word count was extended to 2,000 words. So the first section is going to be on your first advertisement. You would introduce the product, explain the critical reasoning techniques you used, how you incorporated those techniques, how these strategies help sell your product, and then also you can include how you would improve those ads. So this is just an example. You don't have to address all of this, but you're going to discuss and think about the advertisements that you created and how those techniques are effective. Then you'll have another probably section on the second advertisement, same information, and then a third section on your third advertisement. In your conclusion, rather than summarizing, you're going to use this as a reflection on this assignment. So this is a little bit different than a normal essay. In your conclusion, I would like you to discuss what you learned about critical reasoning and argument from the assignment. How did creating these ads yourself help you think about how these strategies work, rather than me assigning you a couple advertisements to just analyze? Which strategies did you find were the easiest to employ? Which strategies did you feel were the most difficult? What do you think you could have done better in these ads? Make a general observation about the importance of rhetorical knowledge for companies or people who are trying to advertise to the public. And all of these assignments are due Wednesday, May 27th. So you will submit your ads in one section on Canvas, and then you will submit your essay in another section on Canvas. Your essay, which I note later, does need to be in MLA format, but you do not need a works cited page since you are not doing any outside research. This is not a research essay. This is persuasive, argumentative, as well as reflective. Then the third part is the peer feedback. You are going to, once you submit these on May 27th, I will assign peers for you to give feedback to and to give you feedback just on your advertisements, answering a few of these questions. Just a couple reminders here, good information. The English Center is open digitally and available to you. So I'm not requiring you go and confer with them like I normally do in class, but I highly recommend it. And all you have to do is join in this Canvas shell. It's free. It's not something that you have to pay for. It's not units or anything, but you just sign up for this Canvas shell, and then you can meet face-to-face over Zoom with a tutor. So I highly recommend you look at that. Okay. So what I want to go over is this PowerPoint that I uploaded, or sorry, a PDF, that I uploaded onto Canvas about how we look at rhetorical devices in advertisements. So here's just a couple examples. So here's an advertisement, an actual advertisement for Sun Chips. So when I'm looking at my advertisement, maybe this is the ad that I created, just pretend, and then I want to think about what rhetorical strategies do I use? So for example, I'm looking at types of statements, a justified belief, less fat than you think, and the reasoning fallacy, incomplete facts. Less fat than you think, that doesn't really give me any information about how much fat it actually has in it. And the justified belief is that these would be healthier than regular chips, which is also here, 30% less fat than regular potato chips. But what does regular mean? Also incomplete fact. So they're being very general on purpose. They also use logos, the logical thinkers. So they're using some data to appeal. You see these numbers, 18, 30%, 0, that are making it seem like there's actually some statistics there, but we don't really know much about that. This next ad, Be Happy, Go Lucky, is a cigarette ad from the past. And what kind of strategies are they using here? You want to take a critical look at that. So they use pathos, a heavy emphasis on being lucky. Notice the word lucky here in bold. Lucky Strike is the name. They kind of reference that a few times in the text. Overstatement, which is hyperbole. Luckies taste better. Well, taste better than what? It doesn't really say anything. So they're just using that exaggerative language to appeal to someone's emotions. And then irony. They have this woman who looks very clean, shiny white teeth, nice lipstick, very upscale woman, not depicting the physical effects of cigarette smoking. So somebody who smokes cigarettes probably isn't going to have their teeth all shiny white like that. They're not going to have this flawless skin necessarily. So it's kind of ironic that they're using this person, this very healthy looking person, to sell something that is unhealthy. I'd like you to go through the other ads on your own. I don't think that I need to go through each of them, but you'll notice if by looking at the ad, you pick out some of the critical reasoning techniques we've gone over in class, and then you can just kind of make some notes. So what I would recommend doing is start your ad. Don't complete the whole thing, but start your ad. Then try to identify some critical reasoning techniques that you have automatically. If you can't find a whole lot, then return back to your ad and deliberately add in some critical reasoning techniques. So you can look through my notes as how I assess some of the ads that are on here and what critical techniques I can find in there. And then you can employ those same strategies. So I recommend you look through our critical reasoning PowerPoint. This is in the files section of Canvas, and you can go back and look at that anytime in the class resources section. We went over this at the very beginning of the semester, but this gives you some information just to remember what are types of statements. And down at the bottom, something you'll definitely want to get into is the ethos, pathos, and logos as well. So just some reminder notes, as well as your handout that you took notes on. If you still have that handy, look through that and use that as well to help you develop this assignment. If you look on our Canvas shell, go to student view, so this is what you see here. When you go to Canvas shell, if you go to the files section, go to project 3, and then here I posted this as well again, the critical reasoning handout we did in class, the critical reasoning PowerPoint, these were from the beginning of the semester, the handout for your advertisements, and the rhetorical devices in advertisements. That's that sample that I walked you through of the ads, this thing right here. So you can use that as well. All of those handouts are listed here in the project number 3 section. In addition, if you go to the pages section and go to view all pages, Canvas lecture project number 3, I'm going to upload this video here, but there's also notes and links to all of those sources, how to use Canva to create your advertisements, as well as the assignment sheet. So definitely look through that and let me know if you have any questions on this assignment.